I hope you guys are all doing well, and I am so glad that all of that rain is gone because I am ready to go outside and play in the sun, and it looks like it's going to be a perfect week for that. Moving on, we are going to talk about an insect called a firefly or lightning bug. And this insect is really cool to learn about because it is finally that time of year where fireflies will start to come out at nighttime for us to see. And they're really cool because they are considered bioluminescent.
Bioluminescent.
That means that they can make their own light. And this is where the light comes from. Isn't that so cool? The light at the end of the firefly can be multiple different colors like green, orange, and yellow. The light comes from a chemical reaction inside of the insect's body that causes the bottom piece of their abdomen to glow. Speaking of body parts, remember that insects have to have 3 special parts and 6 legs. Even though we say fireflies, they're not actually a fly. They're considered a beetle. They belong to the scientific family called Lampyridae.
Lampyridae.
Fireflies live in really dry places or places that are wet. Some examples of a dry habitat would be our very own backyards or your front yard. That's why when you go outside in the summertime, just as the sun is setting, sometimes you can see little flies, but they're beetles, remember, going through the air and lighting up. An example of a wet habitat would be a rainforest, a river, a marsh, or anything where large bodies of waters are at. Fireflies also have a life cycle that is similar to the one we learned about when we talked about ladybugs. Of course, fireflies have some natural predators, and those include birds, spiders, lizards, and frogs, just to name a few. The fireflies keep themselves safe from predators by doing something called reflex bleeding, and this is really cool. Their bodies will create drops of blood that will taste like a bunch of chemicals to any predator that wants to eat the firefly. And of course, because we're learning about fireflies, I brought a book about fireflies. The Very Lonely Firefly by Eric Carle. As the sun set, a little firefly was born. It stretched its wings and flew off into the darkening sky. It was a lonely firefly, and it flashed its light, searching for other fireflies. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it, but it was not another firefly. It was a light bulb lighting up the night. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it, but it was not another firefly. It was a candle flickering in the night. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it, but it was not another firefly. It was a flashlight shining in the night. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it, but it was not another firefly. It was a lantern glowing in the night. The firefly saw several lights and flew toward them, but they were not other fireflies. There was a dog and a cat and an owl, their eyes reflecting the lights. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it, but it was not another firefly. It was a car's headlights flooding the night. The firefly saw many lights and flew toward them, but they were not other fireflies. They were fireworks, sparkling and glittering and shimmering in the night. Wow! When all was quiet, the firefly flew through the night, flashing its light, looking and searching again. Then the very lonely firefly saw what it had been looking for. A group of fireflies flashing their lights. Now the firefly wasn't lonely anymore. The end. Yay! I love that book. I especially love the part where all of the people who were wondering what was going on got to see such a beautiful display of fireworks, and the lonely firefly finally found other fireflies just like him by using his light. Maybe now that it's getting warmer outside, you guys can go look for your own fireflies in your backyard or anytime you're outside when the sun is going down. All right, friends, that's all I have today. But later this week, we are going to go to the garden because I have seen some pretty cool things in there lately and I wanted to take you with me. So stay tuned for that. All right, friends, I'll see you later. Bye.